Hi, I'm coming to you from a campground in Texas. My name is Lisa Bradshaw. I'm the founder of a nonprofit called the Don't Wait Project, and I'm traveling the country in search of people who are living Don't Wait stories. We have a variety of different topics and different stories. We're trying to find something for everyone. So we hope you'll come along and enjoy the tour with us, and we'll see you on the road. Can you pronounce the name of the town we're in, please?
Arnaville.
Arnaville. So no D. It's like Arnold, but no D.
I don't really know how to spell it, but I know that it's said Arnaville.
Yeah, Arnaville, Louisiana. That's where we are. So tell them which one we ordered. Which one we ordered.
Y'all had ordered a half and half. It was a smoky and a boudin, which we make with this boudin they make around here. Green onions, a white cream sauce we make, and mozzarella cheese.
For people who don't know what boudin is,
boudin is it's a type of like a rice dressing sausage. It's all encased in like a skin, and it looks exactly like sauce.
it's really good.
It's very good.
And then we had crab on pizza.
Yeah, which was called our the bluff, and it's made with crab meat and cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, green onions, and a cream sauce.
Not as big a fan of crab on my pizza.
Don't blame me.
The crab was good, but crab on pizza,
Yeah,
it requires some thought.
it's a choice taste.
Yes. Throughout the tour, a boondock camped at Harvest Host locations, including Biotesh Brewery. I spent the afternoon hanging out with Louisiana locals, eating lunch at the wood-fired pizza kitchen, and talking with these traveling musicians, each with a story of their own. T. Don Landry owns Key of Z rub boards and is known as the rub board king. Is there, I haven't seen it, so are no two alike? Because are they manufactured in a large scale?
No, one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah, this is what they look like.
Well, that's easy. Oh, okay. I've seen that.
That's my logo.
You don't need a business card.
Our walking business card.
I also talked with his bandmate, a gentleman who was left for dead, but survived a brutal attack that changed his life.
The place. And that's the last thing I remember. When I woke up, I was bandaged like a mummy, like a mummy.
So you said they didn't shoot you, but you don't remember what happened?
I was going into my office, and the office was in the back, in the storeroom. And I put the key in the door, and that was it. That was the
That's
last
all
thing
you
I
remember.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking about, is that it's not really bucket list stuff, thinking you're in a rush for tomorrow, but it's really that you get to be here, and what do you do with all that time you've got?
That's right.
So how does that, you were talking about the things you guys have lost in your lives, how does that change how you live your life?
Whole lot. I do everything differently.
How so?
Well, first of all, I was a drinker and a smoker. All that's gone. My whole perspective changed.
Right.
Yeah. Just the way I look at just everyday life.
Tell us about your Grammy.
I was bass player on a Grammy Award winning album for Clifton Chenier.
Wow. What year was that?
Oh man, we did have that album. What year was that?
I forget, I got the album.
And it was in the 80s. It was in the
80s, yeah, back in the
81.
What did you do for the album?
Bass guitar.
Oh, gotcha. You know you've done a lot of things in your life when you can't remember the year you won a Grammy,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You get lots of shots from here.
Okay. All righty.
It's great talking with you.
We use the bathroom and then we can do it.
Yeah, it was
Good stuff.
Bayou Teche is the most important waterway to the Cajuns. So it was just a natural name. It's not like a marketing thing. This is us.
They're keeping the French alive through the beers. And part of my job as ambassador is to travel to our markets and talk to people so they know exactly what not only our beer is about, but what our culture is about and how our beer fits into the culture.
There's a lot of Francophone tourism. We get tourism from West Africa, Caribbean, Canada. Europe, and we offer that in the tap room. We do tours in French and English.
And people coming to visit our brewery have a very unique experience, and it's things that we enjoy, so we figure other people will enjoy.
So it's really a great place for people to come together on Saturdays. You know, you get the whole thing too. You get food, you get beer, you get music.
We believe in having a good time. We work hard in South Louisiana. Our ancestors went through a lot to get here. We want to celebrate that. We know life is short, and we just want to have a good time while we're here on this earth. Eat great food, go dancing, do some drinking, have just a great time. There are a lot of breweries in America, in the world, and you can go there and try beer. Here we want people to come here and have an experience.
You know, any one of us will sit down and talk with anybody that comes through here. There's never anybody lonely sitting in a corner drinking at the tap room. It just doesn't happen.
Creating the beer recipe is what food do we want that beer to go with? We use a lot of fat, we use a lot of red pepper and black pepper, and so it's very spicy, very rich cuisine. And so to create a beer to go with that style of food, which is like French-based cooking, we use a lot of European grains. And then we use some hops from Belgium and New Zealand. Those tend to be tropical fruit flavors, like papaya and mango. It's like cooking. You're manipulating ingredients and you're making something that you're crafting. Each barrel have its own personality, so they all taste kind of different. So we'll blend the ones that we like back into the big barrel that we brewed it in, and from there we'll package it. I'll look back and sometimes I'm amazed, because when we started in a railroad car, and we could do like 30 gallons of beer a day. And I come in almost every month. There's new equipment at the brewery here. There's something going on, and to think, that we were happy to make 30 gallons and sell a little bit here and there. It's just it's not just like personal pride. It's also like pride in what our team has accomplished.
Andre, the current owner who purchased the property in 2009, is very much Russian Orthodox. He retired here from Moscow. He had the chapel built in Russia using traditional methods. It's all plaster and mortar built. There's not a single nail used in it. It was shipped over in crates and reassembled here on the property by local artisans. We changed the name to 2013 after the completion of the chapel to Russian Chapel Hills.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, I love it, yeah. And we are an estate winery, so all of the grapes, the wines you're tasting today are made from the grapes that we grow here. We have 10 acres on site and 7 acres around the corner.
It's even a beautiful drive getting here.
Oh yeah, I know, I enjoy my ride to work every day.
Coming here was really, I knew as soon as we were turning a couple miles back that this was going to be pretty special.
Yeah, I was joking, it's a tough job being out here, but someone has to do it.
Right. Well, you do well. It's been fun so far.
So we're going to stop here at this point with the whites. I'm going to skip over the muscadine. It is a sweet wine, even though we add no additional sugar to ours. It does have a sweet finish, and it will throw your palate off for the reds. So I like to call it coming home. We'll circle around the back at the end. It's North Carolina's native vine. We'll finish on a sweet note with that. So the first red that I'm pouring for you is a blend. It's our Tosca Heritage. This is a blend of 80% Merlot and 20% Sangiovese. And we actually gave this wine 3 years of bottle time prior to release. The reason why is our Sangiovese can be a little aggressive when young, but with that 3 years of bottle time, it is drinking beautifully now. Bright red cherry up front, some dark cherry on the back, 14 months on French oak with this, and like I said, 3 years of bottle time prior to release. Well, the next wine I'm pouring for you is our Cabernet Franc, and this is actually my personal favorite of all of our wines. Not that really matters, but it is. And this is a grape that's just doing very, very well throughout Western North Carolina.
This is the spicy one?
This has a nice spicy finish, yeah. You'll find great representations of this as far east as Eastern Yadkin, and ours is certainly no exception. 2 years on French oak helps create that spicy, complex finish. Naturally high acidity on this grape creates a great food pairing red. This is my go-to with lamb every time. Duck, any fattier meats, the acidity here just cuts through very, very nicely. Also just a nice, well-bodied, well-rounded wine to drink on its own.
I've never tried this type before, so I didn't even know that there was a spicy-ish wine.
You've probably had it in blends and
Oh,
wasn't familiar. Yeah, it's one of the great grapes of Bordeaux. But of course, in Bordeaux, they never tell you what's in the wine. You just know what the varietals that they grow there are. It's also used for blending a lot out west. But I'm from the West Coast, and I'm personally not a huge fan of California Cab Franc on its own. It can be a little bit too rustic, a little bit too aggressive. But I find North Carolina Cab Franc to drink very nice, very smooth, even as a single varietal.
Do you get a lot of Harvest Host guests?
We do. You know, I've seen over the last year a vast improvement in the quantity of people we get from Harvest Host. This time last year it was kind of a trickle. I would say maybe 1 or 2 a month. Over the last few months, I've seen at least 5 to 6 a month.
Is it busier
Absolutely.
in the summer or your springtime? It gets pretty hot here in the summer, does it?
It gets hot in the summer. We still have plenty of guests out in the summer. The only time it really gets slow out here is January, February when it's really cold. So the next wine I'm pouring for you is our Chamberson. This is a big, bold grape. Particularly this vintage, the 2014 vintage, like with the Tosca. It was a long, dry fall. It created these big, bold grapes. You're gonna get a lot of nice, big, soft, velvety tannins in this wine. This wine has great ageability as well. It's good now, it's a good steak wine, but you lay this wine down another 2-4 years, it's gonna continue to develop very, very nicely in the bottle.
So the first tasting we did when we arrived, because this is our second one, this one is my favorite now.
Was it your favorite?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, the final red I'm pouring for you is a very, very special wine for us. This is the wine that's used for the Russian Orthodox Church communion wine throughout North Carolina. And we also ship this to a very large Russian Orthodox church in Los Angeles, California, where it's used as a communion wine as well. We make the wine from 100% Cabernet Sauvignon grapes, which are blessed by the Orthodox priest upon harvesting. We put it on French oak for 2 years. During that time, we convert all of the sugar into alcohol, 100%. This is 15% alcohol. And then we back sweeten them with our estate-grown Malbec fruit, which we concentrate cold on site to create a very sweet juice that we add back fresh, unfermented, to bring the residual sugar to 2%, which is why it finishes so nicely with that dark chocolate.
And this is the one you said the owner drinks on ice?
Yep.
So I could even drink my wine on ice. I wanted to try reds. And you get chocolate.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, it tastes different. The chocolate tastes different.
Oh yeah, and I
than it
feel the
would without
chocolate
it.
kind of gives it a kind of a grounding for the sweetness.
So are you supposed to drink it all then eat the chocolate or sip
I
the
usually recommend
chocolate?
people taste it first just to get a true taste of the wine, but I personally prefer to savor it with the chocolate.
Because then does it change the taste of the wine as well as you've had the chocolate?
Yeah, to me it kind of seems to reduce the sweetness of the wine.
If you ever make your way to Columbus, North Carolina, I highly recommend Russian Chapel Hills Winery. With your Harvest Host membership, you can boondock camp in your trailer for free. The wine is delicious, and the view isn't too bad either. My final visit at a Harvest Host location brought me to the Smoky Mountains, where I boondock camped at Ford Family Farm. From Fred's organic garden to Robin's boutique artwork, as well as the history of their 100-year-old homestead, the Fords are two of the most fascinating people I have ever met. Did your family build this house? Did you build this house?
My grandfather had this house built for his tenant farmer probably, we don't know, 120 years ago. $500.
Wow.
So we tell people we live in a $500 house and it's paid for.
Wow.
But it had no interior doors, no closets, no bathroom. It was a 3-bedroom, no bath. So we.
So you are you the one who did all
Yeah.
the updates
Oh,
to
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
You framed it out and finished it? And
Right.
did the finish?
Yeah, and
That's pretty
so
cool.
they had, you know, the water came out of the spring, but they carried it to the house.
Wow.
And,
What I'm doing here. I'm painting with hot liquid wax. That's what this is in here, hot liquid wax. And I apply it to white cloth. And when you do that, you can see what has happened there. It makes that part transparent, and all the rest of the cloth's left open.
So how did you get the house image there?
Well, I drew it out just
Oh, I see.
sketchily, and then
Then
when
you
I
put
add
the wax,
the,
gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
So every time I put a spot of wax on there, it makes it look like that, and
Oh,
it
I see.
holds the white color underneath it. Now,
I
when
see.
I'm going to dye it.
Okay.
So that's what I do. I dye it, and then everything that's been waxed over the white stays white, and everything else will dye. And when that dries, then I can wax just where that color needs to be. So I would go from lightest colors to darkest colors. Oh, here's some that are hanging up behind you. As this one you can see is just one dye in. So after I waxed the part I wanted to stay white, I dyed it blue. And now it's dry, so I can take it back over there and just wax where I want part of the sky to be, plus reflection, because it's a
So you also have
bridge
to
over
plan the
water.
colors over layers.
Totally. Yeah, oh yeah.
So you have to plan the colors, how they layer, like
Yeah.
yellow and blue make green.
That's right, that's right.
Wow.
So as you see there is a lot of planning, or you would really
So
mess
this
up.
one would be, you'd have to know which order you're going in to
Totally.
get this color.
That's right.
Because you can't just do this color.
That's right.
But you could do it a little darker in one spot to have a darker
Well, like
blue.
see here, here's blue, but when I put the yellow over, the yellow was more intense than the blue, so it took over. Yeah. And so then I did blue again, and then it went to green.
So if you want some of this to be darker blue, do you use a different color or just set it longer or do it again?
I can't.
Oh, gotcha.
But I would probably do some of the other colors first because of the layering.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So I'll work on that tomorrow.
So the birds then, you even managed to get layers in the feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, these birds have proven
I remember
totally
doing these
difficult.
in school.
Oh, good, yeah.
Probably elementary or junior high.
Yeah, I
but
first
you know,
did
not
in junior
this
high.
level.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Easter eggs. If you did Easter eggs, you do the crayons on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
egg, and then
same,
you dye it.
right?
It's same. It's wax resist painting as they are.
But
So
you've
you
been doing this for how long?
40 years.
To get this. Don't try this at home. It's not.
No.
It's not going to look like this.
It's very enjoyable.
Yes.
And just if anybody wants
Takes
to,
a lot of
I would
practice.
say to just
Start small.
start with a design. You know, not a picture.
Oh.
So you won't get, disgusted and say, I can't do that. Because
Right.
you can do this. Anybody can do this. It's
So
not
maybe
that
like
hard to do.
one simple flower, like a
Yeah.
yellow flower
Yeah,
with
or
maybe a green
a big
leaf or something.
zigzag.
Oh.
So they're
A
like
star.
Because also, as you may or may have not noticed, when the wax hits the cloth, it was transparent looking, but it also breaks. You can break it. So
To make cracks in it like a leaf.
Yes, and that lets the dye go into the wax part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. It's not just, I've got a picture. It's, I could crack this up and make an interesting design just from wax and dye. So
That's incredible.
I did a lot of clothing for a while, but
So all you have drawn on here is just the two leaves.
yeah, the leaf
The
shape.
rest are going to be
Right, you can't really see that, but
the
right.
green in there.
Mm-hmm. So I could dye this and show you how that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll go with something light, as we've said before, so it will be able to, another
Well,
dye
let's
can
see
take
this
over.
color, because we already have
Yellow.
seen blue.
Okay.
Is that what you mean by a light color? Is that light enough?
Yeah.
What's the solution you're using there?
Water.
That's easy.
H2O, and I have a little bit of blue in there, so we may have a little tint of green, which is cool, because these are just leaves, it's not all that perfect, and it doesn't,
Do you ever have multiple trays going at once?
no, I'm not
'Cause
that
you're not-
good. Yeah. You have to be really focused, So there's yellow, that's straight yellow, with that little teeny bit of blue in there. So now here goes the, okay. So where the wax is, a little more of
Nothing
that.
goes on.
Well, it resists the color, so wax resist. putting a whole lot because I don't need to. So get the idea there.
So
See the
you
main
left the
leaf.
leaves without wax.
Right. So that color is still open, but these aren't. But see, now I can crinkle that up. So next time, dye's going to get in there and make it interesting. So maybe it's like floating in water, or maybe it's on the ground, you know. I haven't really decided on that one. It looks sort of flowing, you know, I had sort of flowing marks there, so.
So this is your greenhouse?
Well, sort of, yeah. I mean, this is where I start. We eat a lot of greens. We're plant-based.
Right.
So greens are real important to us. So this is how you get an early start.
Do you want to check it out,
we're
Caleb?
already eating out of this a little bit, even though it's very young. But there's just 2 of us, so we're always all about that. And we had cattle for probably 30 years. And when Robbie and I got married, we were both kind of interested in being vegetarian. We didn't know exactly what that meant. We just knew you didn't eat meat. And we kind of started together. And I probably couldn't have done it if it hadn't been 2 of us. We really bounced it off of each other. So yeah, just kept working through it and gradually got out of, you know, vegetarian covered a little too much space.
Got it.
You know, dairy and all that. So yeah, we're down to the basics now. That's a 27-year-old asparagus patch.
Wow,
And
27 years.
this garlic is, this is the 27th year. I bought 2 pounds one time from a guy in West Virginia. Every year you pick the prettiest ones and save them and you grow them over.
Oh.
I was telling Caleb, my great-great-grandparents came here from western North Carolina when this was the Outback, and she was Cherokee and he was hard-drinking Irishman. They had 12 children. but they owned all of this.
So how much of this is yours? How many acres?
Oh, I just have 23 acres.
Just 23, huh?
Big families, and
Yeah.
you know, nobody in my family was ever real concerned about money.
Yeah.
They just liked living here. Every generation loved living here, and they just weren't. My grandfather was the local country doctor. He lived across the road. He lived to be 96. He doctored 72 years.
Wow.
Delivered 2,000 children.
Wow.
It's a great place to live. There's not much opportunity. You know,
Well, that depends on what you think of.
well, you have to
right?
create an income.
Yes,
You know, you either
Right,
have
I
to
see.
you have to do like we do, or you have to be, you know, teacher's not a bad job around here, or maybe a nurse. There's just not a lot of industry in this county.
Right.
These counties that border North Carolina and the Appalachian Trail up through here, there are a lot of mountains in the county. A lot of it's owned by the federal government. They're national forests, and there's just not a lot of industry right through here. And so people drive a long ways. My cousin over here, he drives about 45 minutes each way to work, and so does his son. And but you know, they sacrifice to get to live here
Right.
because they like it so much.
We said our goodbyes and exchanged books of interest. And as I drove away that morning, I felt ever grateful for the people I meet along the way on this tour.
The Toyota RAV4 is the best-selling SUV in its class. The legendary RAV4 started selling in 1994 as Toyota's first compact SUV. In addition to the gas engine RAV4, Toyota is the only brand offering 4 hybrid trim levels. Its cabin serves up a sleek design, and rear seat passengers enjoy plenty of room. Come test drive a RAV4 at Town Toyota today. The best-selling SUV just got better.
You know, what I like to tell people about Cheap Fitness is you'll never get bored here and you'll never be judged. My top priority is making sure people feel welcome here, no matter your age, experience, or ability. The majority of new people that come through our door, they've never even put on a boxing glove. That's why our staff is here to help you and show you through the ropes.
It's hugely empowering. I mean, you walk out and you feel like you've accomplished something.